Let's take a look at the 7 new listings of online businesses for sale that Empire Flippers has this week. It is Monday, January 12th, 2026. I'm going to go through each one of the listings here in this email, pick out some of the key details, share some of my own experience-based insight, and ultimately my quick take on whether I would consider acquiring each one or pass on it all together. Let's jump into it here, starting with this first one. And I know nothing about these listings beyond what you can see on my screen here, so I don't know what's coming up. But for this first one, I have to say it looks hella juicy from what we can see right here, making an average of $60,928 per month in profit. Launched in 2019, it is a digital product business. I love digital product businesses that sources and resells expired domains with over 7,000 domains in stock, a streamlined operational structure, 90% year-over-year revenue growth, 57% net profit margins, a healthy total advertising as a cost of sales of 12%, and key acquisition channels that include paid advertising across YouTube, Google Display, Meta, Bing, Reddit, and X, while a 125,000 subscriber email list drives consistent engagement through weekly domain launch broadcasts. Okay, there's a lot of gold right here. This business, it doesn't seem like they describe it. They are buying and reselling expired domains. That's what it seems like to me, and that's kind of how it reads to me. Let me know in the comments if you read that any differently. So they've got 7,000 domains in stock and they're reselling them. This could be just almost listed on a spreadsheet. I've seen businesses do that. Businesses in this space just kind of list them out in like a glorified spreadsheet, like a database online. All the way to, on the other side of the spectrum, they generate up like logos for the businesses, and you kind of buy almost like this brand based around the domain name. I don't know what they're doing here. We don't know, but either way, they are having substantial growth and generating a high net profit. I like the net profit margin. That's characteristic of a digital product business. This is, not your typical info product digital product. It's a little different, so the margin's a little lower, but still nice and juicy. I think we can all love 57% margins that put $60,000 a month back in our pocket. I like their diversified customer acquisition channels. I like the email list. I like that it was established in 2019, so it's a 6 to 7 year old business at this point. The only thing I really don't like here is this 90% year-over-year revenue growth, right? I certainly like revenue growth, but at 90%, like that means this thing is just like popping off. That is very, very high, and I think you'd be naive to believe that 90% revenue growth can go on forever. I mean, it just simply can't. Yeah, it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up, but I'd certainly want to flesh out and in diligence dig up why and how it has had this 90% year-over-year growth and really try to understand how sustainable that is. And when I'm building out my valuation to make an offer on the business, either to justify this valuation or to justify the amount that I could offer that would be a fair valuation for myself to pay on it, I would want to factor this into my forecast of what the profitability of this business is going to look like next year. Because, maybe they just had a good 2025 and they landed some killer domains and sold them, and that's just not likely to go forward, to happen going forward, right? Is this growth happening because the business is becoming more recognizable and people that are in the market to buy domains are coming back to them? Or is this kind of like they just got lucky and landed a real gem of a domain that happened to expire before anybody else did, right? Yeah, that's really the only thing I don't like about this. So overall, I would consider acquiring this business. I'm kind of interested in it as it is. Let me know in the comments what you think. Would you consider acquiring this business or would you pass on it? Am I missing something altogether here? This seems like a pretty interesting business, pretty interesting and good business based on what we can tell there. Let's go on to the next one. Making $26,000 a month in profit. listed at a 42x valuation multiple on a monthly basis. All of these in here on a monthly basis. Is an agency. It's a well-established marketing agency serving real estate investors. Founded in 2021, the agency has built a strong, recognizable brand with a loyal audience and industry credibility, including endorsements from influencers and an extensive library of testimonials and social proof assets. Okay. So this is a marketing agency. I like that they're focused on a niche of real estate investors, and I think real estate investors is better than real estate agents and brokers. That said, I'm a bit perplexed at how they're serving real estate investors. Maybe I'd guess that they're doing like some type of outreach to get leads for these investors to, chase down and invest in or make a cash offer on their home or whatever they do. I like that they've got a strong, recognizable presence. I like the niche. You've got some social proof here. The things that really matter with this are, A, is this business dependent on the seller's persona? A lot of times that happens in this space where there's these strong endorsements and strong social proof. Are they coming because of the seller's face being associated with everything? And B, and I think this is, well, I want to say more important, but it's just as important. How productized are the services here, and how streamlined is the operation, right? Do they have just clients that are just asking them to do whatever and they're kind of hashing out the details as the clients ask? Or are the clients picking from a productized menu and fulfillment behind the scenes is really, really something that's happening? Would I consider acquiring this or pass on it? Well, generally speaking, I would say that this is considerable. If you flesh out those things, it may be a decent opportunity. It is 4 to 5 years old. It's listed at a fair valuation. It's got some strong numbers. That said, for me personally, I would not consider acquiring an agency business. I want something that's going to be a little bit more hands-off, where all my clients, just kind of transact e-commerce style, and I don't really have clients per se, I have customers. So next one, making $9,753 per month in profit. It is listed as an other YouTube or display advertising. That's very interesting. Established in 2019, this unique business has evolved from a YouTube brand spotlighting underground and emerging artists in a specific genre of music into a comprehensive social media promotion network. Primarily driven by Instagram, it has become a critical marketing partner for record labels and music marketing agencies that seek its services daily to purchase sponsored posts. These posts are artfully blended with organic content to maintain authenticity and engagement, ensuring over 90% of the business's revenue is semi-recurring, stemming from long-term relationships with clients. This is an interesting one. You really don't see any businesses like this. Like, it starts out as YouTube, but it has diversified off YouTube. I like that, because I've spoken about YouTube channels before and how they're platform dependent. This one came off of here. But based on the details, it's not platform dependent. They've got customers that are semi-recurring. And it was established in 2019, so it's been around for 6 to 7 years at this point. This thing checks all the boxes to be considerable. I really don't know what it does, to be honest. I can't imagine it. Obviously, I know the details, but I can't imagine or associate it with anything. But if you are really into social media in the music space, this one might be good to acquire. Otherwise, limited details and limited relatability from my own end on that. What's your take on this business? Would you consider acquiring this? Do you know anything about this market and what it does? Let me know in the comments below. If you do, I would love to hear from you. Next up, making $8,201 a month in profit, listed at a 36x multiples, an Amazon FBA business, launched in February 2025. It is a single SKU brand in the music niche. That kind of says all I need to know there. It's not even a year old yet. It's making $8,200 a month. It only has one product, and it's an Amazon FBA business, so it's platform dependent on Amazon, and they're asking 36x. That's a hard no for me. Platform dependent on Amazon, only one product, only a year old. I can't say that there's any scenario that I would recommend anybody buy this in. It's a good business for the seller, right? And why are they selling it now? If it's minimal owner involvement, why not just ride it out and in 3 years come back and then it's more realistic that you're going to get that asking price. Good business to own, good business for the seller, not a good business for the buyer. I would pass on that one. Let me know if you have a different opinion than I do on that one. And next up, making $5,055 a month, another Amazon FBA business in the e-commerce space. They're all in the e-commerce space. Established in April 2022, so close to 4 years old now. Operating across the outdoors, home, and bed and bath niches. Trademarked and Amazon brand registered. Business sells 2 primary listings: an outdoor sanitations product designed for campers and a home organization product. Both listings are well reviewed on Amazon, with the camping product receiving over 500 reviews, an average of 4.5 stars. Consistent customer feedback consistently highlights the product's ease of use, strong value. So it's a little older than the other one, and they've got trademarks and Amazon brand registered products, and it's listed at a 25x valuation multiple. If you're in the market for an Amazon FBA, this one doesn't seem horrible. That said, I would pass on it because I really have no interest in acquiring an Amazon FBA business. It is still platform dependent on Amazon. The bull case is you've got a product and supply chain and a little bit of a brand here. The bull case is you pull it off of Amazon and start selling it direct to consumer on your website and scale it up that way. But that has proven to be, for many, many people, a lot harder than it seems. It sounds easy, right? Pull it off Amazon, or not pull it off Amazon, but start selling it on your own website, pump some traffic to it, and get the conversions happening. Sounds easy, right? You got the product, you got the supply chain, you got fulfillment, all that's worked out. All you got to do is crank your ads. But more people have failed at it than there have been successful. And that's far more people have failed at doing that than, have been successful with it, even very skilled advertisers. So yeah, I would pass on that one. If you have a difference of opinion or you know anything about Amazon FBA that would cause you to have a difference of opinion, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And next up, another Amazon FBA business making $2,294 a month in profit. Founded in late 2017, it's in the child's decorations category. Over time, the brand was intentionally streamlined to focus on its top performing SKU with lower velocity and non-core products discontinued to reduce complexity. Today, the business operates with a tight curated catalog of 18 proven SKUs that have demonstrated long-term demand, stable sales history, and strong marketplace. Okay, this one also FBA, but listed at a 34x valuation multiple. If I were in the market for an FBA business, I'd go for this. 25x, making a little bit more profit, and has trademark products and brand registration. This one just seems overvalued, and plus it's just fucking tiny at $2,200 a month in profit. That's going to be a pass from me. And finally, last, maybe not least, making $1,589 a month in profit is a digital product business established in June 2023 that sells video game assets through the Unity and FBA stores. The business offers more than 50 published assets and maintains an average customer rating well above 4.5 stars on the Unity store. All sales generated organically through the Unity and FBA marketplace. No paid advertising. The seller has been invited multiple times to participate in the Unity store bundle promotions. The seller dedicates minimal time to the business. All right. So I don't know anything about Unity and FBA stores. And that said, it's only making $1,589 a month. It's not worth my time to figure out that market or learn about Unity and FBA stores. So I would pass on it. If you know something about Unity, FBA, and video game assets, I'm guessing that's like clothes for your avatar in a game. I don't play any video games, so I really don't know what's going on. I know that's big business. I know people spend all kinds of money on like Roblox and I was going to say Lord of the Rings, but I know it's not Lord of the Rings, but some other video game like that. people buy like stuff in the game. Maybe that's got to be what this is. And that's probably a freaking huge market, but that is just not a market I know anything about. Nor do I really care to know anything about that market. So not for me. And for most online business buyers, I would say that's a pass unless you know something about that market and this Unity and FBA store thing. On that note, guys, if you found this video helpful and insightful, you know the drill. Smash that like button to help me out in the YouTube algorithm. I've been recording for 15 minutes. Let's take another 5 minutes here and open up this first one, because I thought this one was really interesting. This domain, reselling expired domains business. Let's see what we got here. All right. When I come to these Empire Flippers listing pages, I always kind of jump down here to these monthly profit and monthly revenue trend charts. Now, they're telling a different story because it said 90% year-over-year growth. I mean, the revenue and trend look fairly stable. I'm not seeing the hockey stick up that I was expecting. And that's fine. I like where it is here. It's fairly stable. I think I would rather see this than just, up and to the right, and where it's been around for, 6 to 7 years at this point, and all the growth has happened in the last 3 years. This one has been pretty stable going back to December 2023, stable for the last 2 years, it seems like. So I like that. I like it more now than I did before I opened this page. And if you've watched any of my other videos, you know that's pretty rare, because I've opened up a few of these and I look at the graph and I'm like, oh, it's declining, or oh, it's up and down. Gosh, I don't want to, I don't want something that volatile. I like it so far. Let's keep going. I'm falling in love here, almost. Says the business, I think we know all this. So it says the business is supported by a team of 5 employees, 3 focused on domain acquisition, 1 handling customer support and fulfillment, and 1 managing marketing operations. The founders dedicate 5 to 6 hours per week to oversight tasks such as pricing, campaign reviews, KPI monitoring, and payments with a 4-star Trustpilot rating and a repeatable system for sourcing and selling domains. The business presents a compelling opportunity for buyers seeking a high-margin, scalable digital asset. This is interesting. The seller owns a the seller also owns a link building agency. Refer to the notes section in the assets included doc for further details. Let's go down and see if there's any more details on this here. Revenue and profit trends, doing well. And that is basically it. Yeah, so I mean, I guess further to add to this whole thing, and I appreciate that they're disclosing it, could throw a wrench in things. You'd really need to flesh out what is up with the seller's link building agency and how that's tying into this. At a simple level, you may have some overlap between what the staff does and how that ties in with their other business. It's not uncommon to see the staff pooled. If they're busy in one business, if they're busy at the link building agency, they pool resources from the other one, and there's just some kind of fuzzy lines between that. Going deeper than that, it could be that they're selling these domains, and this is where things kind of start to look a little negative, or really negative, besides just blurring costs and expenses. It could be that they're selling the domains to the customers of the link building agency. If that's the case, and you'd have to pull that out in due diligence, which may not be the easiest thing to do. But if that's the case, this business would largely become untransactable, at least in my opinion. What would be even worse than that? They're bundling link building services with the domains that they're selling. I don't know, but yeah, more overlap would make this business hard to sell as a, standalone asset. I would want to get into this here, and I would really look to see all the details on the expenses, that they're isolated, and then speak to some of the key employees and try to sleuth out whether or not they know anything about this other business. Like, how much do they know about the link building business? Because they may be instructed to tell you, don't tell the seller you work for them, right? But if you can smoke out that they know a fair bit about the link building business, chances are they've had some involvement in there. Yeah, so you'd certainly want to understand where the line of separation is between the two of them. And also, why is the seller selling this one and not the link building agency? This, because here it says the founders dedicate 5 to 6 hours per week. That's not that much. If that's the case, why sell it? This thing's making what, $720,000 a year plus? That's a nice chunk of change. Or why not put a manager? You could hire for this business a skilled overseas manager for $50,000 a year and get like top tier talent that probably knows more than you do or I do about running this business in place, and you're still gonna make $720 minus 50 is $670,000 a year in profit. Yeah, so why not do that? As a buyer, I always try to understand where the seller is at in life and like what they are up to. Because the reason for selling is not never, but it's almost never, or not necessarily what they say it is. So you have to understand why the seller's selling this thing. Are they going to sell their link building agency too? That might be fair, but are they going to keep the link building agency? A good bull case or strong positive reason for the seller to be selling, the work that's positive from your perspective as the buyer, is that the seller is just liquidating all of their assets because they're starting a family or just want to retire or want to take some time off. I've actually personally thought of doing that, but my personality would never let me. My mindset would not do that. But anyways, yes, aside from going down that wormhole, right? If they're going to sell if they want to chill and take some time off business, then selling all the assets and, proving that they're actually listing them for sale and indeed proactively selling them is fair reason to sell this. But if they're going to keep the other business, why sell it, right? Like, you're still working. You could, like I said, put a general manager or chief, whatever you want to call, in place here. Let them run the business and just collect your $670,000 a year check. Yes, you really got to kind of understand that about the person that's selling the business that you are considering acquiring. On that note, guys, what is your take on this domain business or any of them? Would you consider acquiring them, or would you pass on any of them? I guess let's focus on consider acquiring, since there's so many, it's easy to say we'd pass on. Which ones would you consider acquiring? Let me know in the comments below, and if you found this video helpful or insightful, you know the drill. Smash that like button to help me out in the YouTube algorithm. I am calling it a wrap and signing off on that.